Hi, it's Kara, and what you're about to see is an actual DNA Theta healing session with a client of mine. And it's not going to be a full session because of time limitations, but I'm sure it's going to get results just the same. Enjoy it. Thank you. Hi, my name is Kara, and we're going to be doing DNA Theta healing. And in case you're not familiar with it, what we're going to be doing is identifying, picking an issue and identifying your subconscious limiting beliefs, and we'll be instantly, permanently changing them at 4 different levels. We're going to change them at a core level, which means from this life. We're going to change them at a genetic level, which means we actually are going to be having God change genetic imprints and to healthier ones. And we're going to be changing the beliefs also at a history level where they get resolved, never to return again. And the history level includes group consciousness beliefs, your ancestors' beliefs, and which get passed on to you. And we're going to be changing them also at the soul level, because your soul, although it's guiding you at all times, is still learning. And so we may have to change them at that level as well. So what would you like to work on today?
No, tomorrow morning I'm supposed to treat an MD. I think he's coming to check me out to see whether he wants to give me referrals or for working with him or something, but I just want to ensure that my subconscious is confident and ready for that event.
Okay, so I also want to add that when God takes the limiting beliefs and removes them, what happens is God replaces them with God's truth, with something far more liberating and empowering. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to use muscle testing, which I've showed you earlier, and we'll use that to identify if your beliefs are actually changing, okay? And so your issue is that you're going to be working with a doctor who is sort of testing you to see what type of practitioner you are, what you're made of, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so that sounds great. And so what's the worst part of that for you, most concerning?
At this point I don't know that there's a worst part, so maybe just that, I just want to feel confident. So the worst part would be not feeling 100% confident.
Okay. So why wouldn't you feel confident?
Because I think he may have worked with other people before, and he may be judging me from the standpoint of other practitioners that he's dealt with.
Okay. And the worst part of that is?
Worst part of that is that I may not live up to his expectations, and maybe it would cost me some business.
Okay, so can you close your eyes for a moment? Just relax. Think of the earliest time when you felt that you weren't living up to someone's expectations, whatever comes to you first, the first time you felt that issue. Go back as far as you can go.
Well, nothing really comes up, just a general. I grew up in a poor family and ridiculed a lot because we were a poor family and my mother behaved strangely, that I never really had the feeling of measuring up to anybody.
Okay. Who would you say was like the main person that you would say that relates to?
Myself. I mean, because I can't point to one person and say, well, they were a bigger, criticizer than someone else.
So let's just check. Okay, we're going to do a little muscle testing and let's see. I never met up to my mother's expectations when I was a child.
I never met up to my mother's expectations when I was a child.
First of all, we're going to explain that we're going to muscle test, and if it's strong, that means yes, it's true to you. And if it breaks, it means no, it's not true for you, okay?
Okay.
So say, I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Strong, it didn't break, so it's true. Say, I'm a woman.
I'm a woman.
Broke, so that's not true. You're not a woman. Are you relieved? Okay. So, say when I was little, I never lived up to my mother's expectations.
When I was little, I never lived up to my mother's expectations.
Okay, hold. No. When I was little, I lived up to my mother's expectations.
When I was little, I lived up to my mother's expectations.
Yes, so, okay, so we're not working on your mother. Let's try it with your father.
When I was little, I lived up to my father's expectations.
No, okay. So, what was the worst part of that for you when you didn't live up to his expectations?
I don't know that there was a worse part because he died when I was quite young.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Nothing really comes to me about that.
But still you have the belief that you didn't live up to his expectations.
Okay, well maybe if I would have lived up to his expectations, he wouldn't have died early.
Okay. Okay. So let's test that. Say
If I would have lived up to my father's expectations, he would still be living.
That's a yes. So that's something that you do believe.
Okay.
Okay. So also test, I'm responsible for my father dying.
I'm responsible for my father dying.
No, I'm not responsible.
I'm not responsible for my father dying.
Yes, okay. So would you like sources' perspective on that your father may have lived or still be living if you had been able to live up to his expectations?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. And now, hold your fingers together again.
Okay.
And now repeat what you said earlier, that if I had lived up to my father's expectations.
If I had lived up to my father's expectations, he'd still be alive.
Say it again so we get an
If I had lived up to my father's expectations, he'd still be alive.
That's a no? It opened wide. Okay.
Okay.
So, would you like to know what it feels like to live up to your father's expectations, and that it's possible how to, and that you do live up to his expectations? Would you like to know that?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now test, I live up to my father's expectations now.
I live up to my father's expectations now.
That's very strong. Okay. So that's all we're going to do for now, and I just want you to know that my role was as witness to God changing the beliefs, and when you witness something, that makes it real. So that's it for now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, it's Kara, and I wanted to update you on the results of the session that you just watched. My client was concerned about his appointment that he was having with a prominent MD, and he was concerned about the results and his worthiness of being able to work on this person. And as a result of the session, which by the way is not a complete and total session, it would normally go a little bit more. Still, the results were that his client came to him and barely had energy to get himself up on the table, and by the end of the session almost jumped off the table full of energy and is a regular client of his now. So that's typical of results from a session like this one.